Hello, Stitch Roadies. Thank you for joining me today. I am back from Sampler Symposium, and it is so funny because I must have said more than once in conversations that my favorite floss tubers out there do not go over an hour, although I do follow a handful that do go over an hour, but it takes 2 or 3 sittings to get through them, and so I had always committed myself not to go over an hour, but let me just mea culpa, I think I'm going over an hour today because I have so much to share with you, not only about Sampler Symposium, but just about life in general and about what's been going on in the beehive. So first of all, I'm going to start with my Floss Organization. Many of you might know that my goal for this winter was to organize floss. And as you will see in a picture right here, if G puts the picture right here, we'll see how we can coordinate that. What I did was I was gifted a lot of floss from a friend who had passed away, and her sister passed the floss on to me, and it had always stayed in a bag, and it, I mean, I used it occasionally, but it was still in the way that she had it stored at the time of her passing. And so I decided that I needed to stop just automatically kitting things up, but actually see if I had floss that met the needs of the particular chart I chose, or maybe to actually step out of my comfort zone and occasionally do a conversion. But I would have to be able to see the floss. And so I purchased 4, it came in packs of 2, of metal pegboard, and then I also included magnetic hooks and rings, and I twisted the floss much like you might see in some shops, and I hung them alphabetical, and it was fascinating to me in that process, which took a couple of weeks, not consistently doing it, but every so often when I felt the need to sit down and twist floss, and it was interesting to see because this is older floss, so dye lots are different, and also how different companies choose the name, because floss is named, it's not numbered like DMC. So the fancy floss. And because at one point G came in and he goes, why don't you put like all the browns together? And I'm like, oh no, we can't do that. We have to do it by the name. But how some letters of the alphabet had more fancy floss and some did not. I am so proud of myself and that I set this goal and that I made it happen, and I hope that means that my 2024 is going to be a brave year in cross stitch. Now I just wanted to show you how I decided to do the DMC. So I talked to my girlfriends, and 2 of them store their DMC like this, and I really questioned and quizzed, does that meet is that a pain to look at it like that? Because I don't like bobbinating. I don't like the crimp that comes in the floss, So, and I use the floss away bags on a ring because I do love my fancy rings that Chris makes. So I bought the photo boxes from the craft store, and these are also on Amazon, and so I labeled them. You can see I put I put all my different shades of white in one box. then 0 to 99 in another box. And my friends swear it's not hard to find because you know the color you're kind of looking for. And then I put them in floss away bags with a project on a ring. So they're all kind of, I have 2 boxes of these, and I ended up with some empty, smaller boxes. So if any of these boxes, there's too much floss to fit in according to the number, I can break them down into smaller units. And so far, I am liking them. I'm liking how neat they are. I did finish my designated stitch. Yes, it is done. Not fully finished, but finished. I'm hoping that it gets framed in time, but we shall see. Anyway, I'm very proud that I finished it. And now I have to choose another designated stitch. And I know many of you who have been traveling this journey with me for so long really loved the trees, and by Renato Perelin, and I have decided that that is going to be the next designated stitch. I mean, it is challenging in a way that it is all white floss, and but what better way to get it done than just to have that as the designated stitch for the evening? No thinking about it, just gonna do it. So you'll be happy to be seeing that. I will be happy to hopefully get that done. I did think long and hard about whether I really wanted to make that the designated stitch. Now, when I went down to Sampler Symposium, I took a project that was, I just love it. I just love it. It is a primitive hair project, and it is it's called Summer House. And this is the chart. Here's the thing, and all I had, a majority of what I'm doing right now is fill in, so it was absolutely perfect to stitch in an airport or on a plane. I didn't have to have the chart out. I just, very relaxing. And it was in this gorgeous bag with this little tag that is just cross-stitched. I'll try not to make you dizzy. What is so funny to me is that this bag was gifted to me, and I'm just going to look up something here because I think this is so funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. So hold on one second while I, oh, did we lose our, oh, there we go. Yeah, if you didn't know, if you haven't kept track of the news, we in this area have been slammed. I know many across the country. There has been a lot of tragedy related to this weather system that has been going on. And so for 48 plus hours, we've not had internet. And that has been, that's been challenging, to say the least. But this is the thing. This beautiful bag was, this, look at this fob was gifted to me by the Selfish Stitcher. And she said, I share my stitching projects, but I'm the selfish stitcher because I mainly make things for myself. That is not selfish, and I beg to differ. I have been gifted one of your precious creations. And when you make something for yourself, you are not being selfish. You are actually loving yourself. So I just wanted to pass that on. But I did make some progress on this project. I'm just doing a lot of fill-in. I'm going to be bouncing a little bit around because each thing I share with you connects to a dot. So, Sampler Symposium. It's fabulous. It's a bucket list. There are so many things I will be sharing with you today, but the number one thing about it is the connection. Now, first of all, you have a needle workshop that's in business that puts on this fabulous event. But who comes to help out that shop owner in her shop during these big events? Other cross-stitch shop owners. Yeah. Acorns and Threads, Stitchville, USA, Traditional Stitch. It's the epitome of the connection that this cross-stitching community has. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And as you're stitching in these events, you learn so much from other stitchers. Nobody is like telling you to leave them alone if you ask them a question, or they are more than willing to help you out. And I was moving between two tables. I had a winter home and a summer home at Sampler Symposium. And when I was in my winter home, I was stitching a little bit on this project. This is the one I left over at that table. And one of the other participants came up and she goes, I just want to tell you that I do not think that this certain part of the pattern, really you don't need it. And so I've been struggling with that. You see the words at the top? I was wondering also about why is the R and the E yellow, and I don't know, I hadn't resolved that in my own head. And then one of my fellow cross-stitchers said, I don't think I'd even put that at the top. And I thought, well, for one thing, I didn't use the designated fabric. I chose a different fabric. And I think she's right. I don't have to put those words at the top. I might just put a little chimney up there and leave the words off, because I love this fabric that I chose, and it also is a primitive hair creation. But isn't that the best part of cross stitch, is that you get to make it your own. You get to make it your own. And no one does it more powerfully than Kim, the Contented Stitcher. And she was there, my cross-stitch angel that has allowed me, in her bravery, to create a little bravery in me also. And it totally cracked me up because if you have not watched her, you should take a gander over there. She is not the least bit restricted in the charts that she stitches. She allows the chart to lead her on a journey, and then she makes the journey her own. And when I saw her stitching, she had a stand that she was stitching on at another table, and there was like a ripped piece of chart there. And I was like, okay, what's this about? So then I said, so what's with the ripped piece of chart? And she just started laughing, because what she does is she takes a working copy and then she starts stitching. And when she gets to an area that seems appropriate, she rips that off, so she never has to go back and start counting from a faraway point. What can I say? It sounds bizarre, but I was like eating it up. Yeah, I was eating it up. And you learn so much at these workshops, not just from the instructors, but from the participants themselves. And I could hear in the back of my mind something going, because I'm paying attention to all the other tables. And I know everybody says their table was the best, but my table was the best. I had Jan and Carlene and Margaret and Wendy and Lorraine, and it was so great because I think it was Lorraine that brought it. Wendy and Lorraine came from Canada, and she brought a box of chocolates to share, and coffee and chocolate in the same crunchy bar. And then she sent me home with 3, because 3 is a serving. And so I could have them on the plane. And I wanted to savor them a little bit longer. But the emotional camaraderie that you build at your table, it's almost like a mini family. It's like a mini family. And it's not that you don't go visit all the other tables, because you do. I mean, there were a lot of fun people, new people to meet, new friends. There was so much sharing and gift giving. I mean, Cheryl, she is, I gotta look, here's X-Stitch Birder. I could talk birds to her. But look at this little pincushion house that she made. It's, and it was so many things that were gifted. Wendy, sampler lover. She was at my table. That was so cute. I also got from Grace, I got a bracelet, and which I am still wearing, and it says snarky cross stitcher. Xer, that's what it says. Snarky one, because we're a little bit snarky. And a lot of times cross stitchers are also knitters, quilters. They do all kinds of things. And so Angie from Lunchbox Quilts brought me her catalog, because look at that thing on the front of it. Oh man, makes me want to get an embroidery machine. But she also has patterns that don't need embroidery machines, but you can use your favorite applique method. And she knew that I wanted to do a Paris themed quilt, and so look at this. I could either do it like that, or I could take 3 or 4 of those motifs and make a wall hanging. There's even instructions to just make an Eiffel Tower wall hanging, and it has a little scissor fob in there. And that was from Lunchbox Quilts. So the way this happened was I flew from Portland down to Phoenix, a direct flight, and then I took a lift to the hotel where the event was occurring, and it's at the same hotel when Jean does her attic events. And if you are the least bit interested, you need to get on their email list because that's where she'll announce all of the future and past future events will be. And so then I dropped my stuff off and took the shuttle. There's a shuttle at the hotel that takes you directly to the attic. Yeah. And I was lucky because when I got there, it was buzzing, 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 buzzing. And Kim, the Contented Stitcher, told me immediately I have to choose. This particular event was the Sampler Symposium, and so there were a table full of different samplers and thread packs, and you had to pick which samplers and thread packs you wanted to, because you had $100 voucher in which to decide what project you wanted. So that was a lot of choosing going on there, and so I chose 2 different samplers. I don't know. And you know, that's the other thing that's really funny, is because I am admittedly not a sampler person, it's not to say that I won't be, but I am currently not, in terms of I do not know the names of samplers. Like, I was functioning in a crowd of people who would say, oh, have you stitched Ann Morgan's? And they would like all know what that person was talking about. I'm like, who's Ann Morgan? Is she here? Yeah, yeah. So definitely a little bit out of my element, but I loved every minute of it. And that is one of the goals I had for my life in this particular decade I am, is to be brave. To not just live my life in caution, I guess, but to be brave and experience things. And so even though I wasn't the like know-it-all sampler person, I thought, I'm going to Sampler Symposium by myself, and not knowing anybody in particular that I was going to be meeting at the other end. I know that my friend Janine was there, but she was there working. I got embraced by Carlene and Margaret and Kim and Shelley, and it was so fun to see Shelley because I used to see her regularly on Zoom, and I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel alone. I felt taken care of and supported. So because Kim said you gotta, before it's all gone, or the one you want's gone, you better pick your thread and chart. So I got the Ann Morgan's thread pack, and this is Soie d'Alger. That's what they call this for people in the know. And then Ann Ogston was the other chart I picked, and this was in the 103s. So I got these 2 for as part of the Sampler Symposium. I got both those thread packs, and I got the charts. Here's the other chart. And just so you know, that was just the tip of the iceberg of what was given to us at this event. We also had a talk by Needlework Press, and we're given the peer sisters, Lavinia and Sophie, Sophia and the paper. Antique Sampler Reproduction, Mary Wallace from Ireland. And there was Nicola Parkman who gave a talk also. And Katie Strachan from San Francisco was there with her, I know they call it a casket. It sounds kind of strange, but it was absolutely stunning. And you will see it at the end of this video. There'll be a slideshow of pictures that I took of people I met and samplers I saw at the attic and at the workshop. And so stay tuned for the end of this video for that slideshow. But we had a nice talk by Katie Strachan, and I'm telling you, her stitching, amazing. And then we had a talk on Irish samplers. So you were constantly being educated, and also included was a talk by Mary Cox, and in that was this, look at his adorable little crocheted flower, and in that was a chart and all of the product you needed to make that sampler and needle book and pincushion, and the fabric, the thread, all of the things that you needed to complete that project. I mean, someone was handing you something about every 5 minutes all weekend. And then a wooden box to put that all in. And then she signed the bottom of the box, Mary Cox. So this is going to be a sooner than later start, because I want this displayed here in the beehive. We were also gifted greeting cards with the chart. Little glass cleaner. And that, and also the fabric to do the designated charts, the two that you chose. But naturally, because I was down there, I did some retail therapy, but I also received a coaster with the chart I had chosen, and from Katie Strachan, a sticker for my days of, my book of days, a little ruler from the attic, and then many needle minders. But look at this one, this necklace. It is Prims on Greenway, and I'm here to tell you, this is a waxer, but it's a strawberry waxer. Is that not gorgeous? So beautiful. So beautiful. I mean, every few seconds you were turning around and someone was handing you something. I did purchase some things at the attic. The main thing I wanted to purchase was fabric, because I was there, and whenever they have these events, they have a huge supply. And so I decided, oh, I need to get something. So this is Haunted, 36 count. I mean, look at that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This one is Seraphim Old Stationery, 40 count. And then we have Tabby Cat, Just the Ticket. Beautiful. Grace Notes fabric. I don't have any Grace Note fabric. And it is 40 count. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. I did, I was sitting there, sometimes you just have to take a rest, so I was sitting in the shop at a table, and when I turned around, I saw this chart hanging there, and I said, I want this. Sweet plump tomatoes ripening on the vine. One day soon you're going to be mine. Isn't that beautiful? The Scarlet House. Katie Strachan had purchased this one, and I said, show me where you got it. This is the Scattered Seed Sampler, Little Pear Tree Pin Keep. And Needlework Press, they also did a, gave us a little kit for a bookmark and everything to make that bookmark. And then I had to get this little project bag. It'll be for a little mini project. Now I was told that this was last year's Sampler Symposium, one of the charts, and I loved it. I like Quakers, and this particular chart, it seemed like I don't think I'll do the whole thing, but I'm going to take out and make pillows or stitch little gifts. And that is Cross Stitch Antiques and Anne Hunt Nailsia. Scattered Seeds. I believe this was gifted to us. Scattered Seeds Sampler, Little Berry Thief, Pin Keep. I mean, there were literally so many things being handed to you. Look at that. Teresa and Anna. Minnie McBeans. And then all these, Terry gave me this little scissor fob, and it was just totally cracked me up because it came from Beth Twists and her husband's workshop right down the road from me. But isn't that adorable? And then there were a whole little commemorative to the attic given by Jean was this box with all these magnets in it. So pretty. So like I said, I'm not a die-hard sampler person. It did not prevent me from going, and I came away a better cross-stitcher. I had a greater understanding. I mean, my friend Carlene was the one that gave me the best story about how, I was saying, in 2 generations, in our family, 2 generations after me, there won't be anyone in the family who actually knows who I am, who knows my stories unless someone passes them on, but won't have met me. My grandchildren's children may not know me. So Carlene said these samplers, it's a way for us to help these little girls or little boys' histories move forward. I mean, it just touched my heart so much. And so I can say that I have a greater appreciation for samplers. There are some that I like, some that don't move me in the same way, but I do know that I came away from that event a better person. Now, to share the downside of this whole event, the hotel we stayed in was great. It's the one that the attic uses every event they have. And so last year I was there with Bristol, and you know, they take care of you. They absolutely take care of you. But what I came to understand was that you know how they ask for recommendations to make your stay, give us a rating, all of that. Well, obviously, the recommendation I left last year, no one paid attention to, because I specifically related about the mirror in the bathroom. And for those of you who maybe didn't watch that video or don't remember, the way the room is built is that when you're sitting, I'm by myself in the room. I don't close the bathroom to use the bathroom. Even when I'm with my bestie, I don't close. I'm usually talking to her, you know, while I'm sitting on the toilet. She can't see me. But directly across is the closet full-length mirror. And I specifically left a recommendation that be changed, that was quite startling in the middle of the night, and I thought it would be in their best interest to change that layout. Obviously, no one listened to me. And in fact, the woman in that mirror looks 10 pounds heavier than she did last year. So I'm not sure what went on with that mirror, what they did to it, but there's something wrong with it, because the reflection back actually looked heavier. And I might have to try to contact the Hilton headquarters and see if I can talk to someone. Like, does anyone know Paris Hilton? I mean, when she looks back, does her reflection look 10 pounds heavier? I'm just kind of wondering why they didn't take care of that. But I have to say that was quite startling to me. So yes, the project, though, I wanted to share with you the project I took, because you know I was at a sampler symposium, so I took my project in this bag that Janine had gifted me, and it was my maximum cross stitch. I just love this one. There's always room at the table. I had this kitted up as soon as Ellen had designed it by Evertote, and I did a little bit more work. I got my tree, let's see here. I got my tree done, and I'm working on that planter next to it. I am doing this on this gorgeous fabric, 36 count tephra by Cedar River. linens and design, and it is absolutely perfect for this. So I think this will get done this year. It feels like it. It's not that big. It's not that big. So I worked on that, and and I got some tags. These are from Shelley. I gotta put those out. So again, I highly recommend you stepping outside your box, being brave. You will meet the most incredible people. I mean, when I was stitching on this was my summer table stitch with Carlene and Margaret and my Canadian girls and Jan. I could hear someone in the background talking about a pin stitch. So when I got done, at one point, I stopped at the table and I said, was someone doing an instruction on the pin stitch? And this lovely stitcher, B, said, a lady taught me how to do it just a little while ago. And so B sat with me and taught me how to do the pin stitch. And that is what these events are about, is that you are supported in ways you don't even know you'll be supported. And cross-stitchers are absolutely amazing people. I met, I watched different floss tubes, and so it was great to see all the other floss tubers there. It was just to sit down with a complete stranger and see what they're stitching makes you feel like the world is a smaller, more gentler, more loving place. And so for me, that in itself was worth making the journey down there. Now the journey back was another issue, because in the meantime we had an incredible storm. We had been without Wi-Fi for 48 hours now, and one of our sons had no electricity for over 24 hours, so his family came and hung out here for a while. Trees went down all over the Portland area. There were tragically a few deaths because of the weather. The airports, both in Phoenix and here, were a bit of a cluster because everything back east, every connecting flight, delayed. My flight home was delayed. Yeah, it has been quite the weekend here. But I hope you are all staying warm and that your cross stitch is lovely. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, stay tuned. Don't hang up yet, because this beautiful slideshow that G's going to put together for me, you can sit and watch and drink your tea and dream about your workshop. Yeah, you should do it. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there, and you know, as always, that I love you.